Okay, the third type of factorising quadratic trinomials involves one extra step. If you remember, the first thing we should ask ourselves with factorising is, can we take out a common factor? So this is a quadratic trinomial because it has an x squared, an x and a no x term, but we can take a common factor out. So we should do that first. 2 is common, and that leaves us with x squared minus 7x plus 12. So we do that first. We then put the 2 out the front. We put it there, but we temporarily forget about it. We look at what's in the brackets, and then we think of our box method. I need to choose two numbers that add to -7. I need to choose numbers that times to positive 12. How did I get that again? The two numbers I choose need to add to the number with the x. The two numbers that I choose have to add to the -7. The two numbers that I choose have to times to 1 times by 12, which gives us 12. So I write down all my factors of 12. My factors of 12 are 1 and 12. -1 and -12 also multiply to 12. 2 and 6, -2 and -6. 3 and 4, -3 and -4. This is the combination that also adds to -7. So I rewrite what's in the brackets, x squared minus 3x minus 4x plus 12. So just a reminder, what's highlighted in green is exactly the same. It's just written in a way to make it easier for us all to be able to factorise it. So remember, I've got my 2. It's still there, but I forget about it. I look what's in my brackets. For the first two terms, x is common, and I'm left with x minus 3. For the second two terms, minus 4 is common, and if I take minus 4 out, I'm left with x minus 3. I then look, my 2 is still out the front. I look at the two terms I have. With the two terms that I have, x minus 3 is common to them both. So I take the x minus 3 out, and leftovers is x minus 4. Okay, at this last stage, now not necessarily for the double lot of brackets, so the answer is 2, x minus 3, x minus 4. We'll do a second example like that. So it's a quadratic trinomial because it's got an x squared, an x, and a no x term. But the very first thing you need to ask yourself with factorising, is there something common? And 3 is common to these three terms. When you take 3 out as a common factor, you're left with 2x squared plus 9x minus 5. So what I do is now look what's in my brackets, put my 3 out the front, forget about it, look what's in the brackets. I need to choose two numbers. These two numbers need to add to the thing with the x. So the two numbers need to add to 9. The two numbers that I choose need to times to 2 times minus 5. 2 times minus 5 is minus 10. So I'm going to write down everything that times is to minus 10. 1 and -10, -1 and 10. 2 and -5, -2 and 5. Of that, there is one combination that adds to positive 9, and that would be this combination here. So I rewrite it as 2x squared minus 1x plus 10x minus 5. Alright, so just a reminder, the 9x has been written as minus 1x plus 10x. My 3's out the front. It's still there. I need to remember it, but I forget about it. I look at my first two terms. X is common, and I'm left with 2x minus 1. In my second two terms, 5 is common, and if I take 5 out as a common factor, I'm left with 2x, take 1. I now have two terms, 1, 2, and they have a common factor. The thing in the brackets, 2x minus 1, is common. So I have my 3 out the front, 2x take 1 is my common factor, and x is left in the first term, and 5 is left in the second term. So my answer is 3, 2x minus 1, x plus 5. So just remembering in these two examples, they are factorising quadratic trinomials, but what you can do is take out a common factor before proceeding with your box method.